Most people believe that power is loud, that those who dominate the world announce their strength, that intelligence is something you flaunt. But the true masterminds? They move in silence. They never show their full hand, never let the world see their next move. They don't demand respect. They command it, without ever needing to say a word. Look around you. The people who truly shape the world, the ones who are always 2 steps ahead, never seem like they're trying. They blend into the background, watching, analyzing, waiting. And when the moment is right, they strike with such precision that no one even realizes they were being played. The real game isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most calculated. So if you've ever felt like you're always at a disadvantage, like people walk all over you, manipulate you, or take credit for your ideas, it's time to change that. But here's the thing. Outplaying someone isn't about aggression. It's about strategy. It's about understanding human nature so deeply that you can turn any situation in your favor without anyone ever suspecting a thing. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. 5 powerful ways to outsmart anyone, gain the upper hand, and make sure you're always the one in control, without them even realizing it. Let's begin. Way number 1. The power of controlled silence. Let them reveal everything. In a world where people rush to fill every silent moment with words, the one who masters silence controls the entire conversation. The loudest person in the room might seem powerful, but in reality, they're exposing themselves, giving away their thoughts, emotions, and weaknesses. Meanwhile, the person who listens, who observes, who waits, they are the real puppeteer pulling the strings. Have you ever noticed how most people can't stand silence? It makes them uncomfortable, uneasy, almost desperate to say something, anything to fill the void. And that's where your advantage begins. The moment you stop reacting impulsively, stop oversharing, and instead let silence do the work. You force the other person to reveal themselves. Imagine you're in a negotiation, a debate, or even a casual conversation with someone trying to manipulate you. Instead of arguing, defending yourself, or rushing to respond, just pause. Let the silence hang in the air. Watch what happens. They'll start to feel uncomfortable, their confidence will waver, and before they even realize it, they'll start giving away more information than they should. The beauty of controlled silence is that it creates a psychological pressure that people don't even recognize. It makes them feel like they need to explain themselves more, justify their words, or even expose their insecurities, all while you sit back and collect every piece of information you need. And the best part? They won't even realize you're doing it. This works in every situation. Whether you're dealing with a manipulative friend, a boss trying to outmaneuver you, or even someone in an argument. When they expect a reaction from you, deny them that satisfaction. Instead, give them nothing but silence. Watch as they stumble, second-guess themselves, and eventually hand you the upper hand without even knowing it. The world belongs to those who listen more than they speak. The moment you learn to master the art of controlled silence, you'll notice something strange happening. People will start respecting you more, confiding in you more, and unintentionally giving you the advantage in every conversation. Because in a world that doesn't stop talking, the one who listens owns the game. Way number 2. The art of misdirection. Make them look one way, while you move the other. In the game of power, perception is everything. If you can control what people see, you can control what they believe. And if you can control what they believe, you can control what they do. This is the essence of misdirection. the ability to guide people's attention away from what truly matters, while you quietly make your move behind the scenes. Think of a magician performing a trick. When they make a coin disappear, they aren't actually making it vanish. They're simply making you look in the wrong place. Your mind fills in the blanks, assuming one thing while the reality is something else entirely. This isn't just a stage trick. It's one of the most powerful psychological tools you can use in real life. Most people operate in a predictable manner. They telegraph their thoughts, emotions, and intentions without even realizing it. They let others see their strengths, weaknesses, and strategies, making it easy for others to counter them. But the true strategist? They reveal only what they want others to see. So, how do you use this? Simple. If you want to outsmart someone without them knowing, control their perception of you. Want them to underestimate you? Appear less capable than you really are. Want them to trust you? Show them just enough vulnerability to make them let their guard down. Want to win a negotiation? Make them think they have the upper hand while you set up the real victory behind the scenes. One of the greatest examples of misdirection in real life is when you act like you don't care about something, when in reality, it's your main objective. The moment people think you aren't interested in something, they stop trying to block your path. They lower their defenses. And that's when you move in and take exactly what you wanted. Think about how this applies in business, relationships, and social interactions. If you want someone to reveal their true thoughts, let them believe you're not paying attention. If you want someone to make a mistake, guide their focus toward something irrelevant while you set up the real play. If you want to control the flow of any situation, become the master of what people see. The greatest victories aren't won through brute force or open confrontation. They are won in the shadows, where no one even realizes they are being played. And the most dangerous opponent? It's not the one who's loud, aggressive, or obvious. It's the one who knows how to make you look the other way, while they quietly take everything they came for. Way number 3. The power of silence. Let them reveal their own weaknesses. In a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, the one who remains silent wields the most power. People underestimate silence. They think that being the loudest, the most vocal, or the most aggressive makes them dominant. But in reality, it is the quiet observer who controls the battlefield. Silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to fill the void with their own words. And in that process, they reveal more than they ever intended. They expose their insecurities, their fears, their motivations, and their weaknesses, all without you having to lift a finger. Picture this. You're in a negotiation, and the other person makes an offer. Instead of responding immediately, you stay silent. The longer the silence stretches, the more uncomfortable they become. They start second-guessing themselves. Maybe they offered too little. Maybe they need to justify their position. Maybe they should sweeten the deal. And before they even realize it, they've talked themselves into a worse position, while you haven't said a single word. This tactic is used by the most powerful individuals in history. Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Sun Tzu, each of them understood that silence is not emptiness. It is a weapon. It forces the other person to react emotionally while you remain in control. But the real genius of silence? It makes people fear you. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what you're planning. And when someone can't read you, they assume the worst. They become paranoid, cautious, hesitant, giving you the advantage before you've even made a move. Imagine being in an argument. The other person expects a reaction. They want you to defend yourself, to explain, to get emotional. But instead, you do nothing. You just watch. Suddenly, their anger loses its power. They start feeling foolish. They start questioning themselves. And in that moment, you win. Not because you fought back, but because you refuse to engage on their level. Silence also makes you seem more intelligent, more composed, and more mysterious. It makes people respect you, even fear you, because they don't know what's going on in your mind. They only know that you are unshaken, unreadable, and in control. So, the next time you find yourself in a conversation, a conflict, or a negotiation, say less. Let others do the talking. Let them expose themselves. Let them give you everything you need to outmaneuver them. And when you finally do speak, every word will carry 10 times the weight, because you weren't just talking. You were listening, analyzing, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Way number 4. The art of misdirection. Make them think they're in control, while you pull the strings. The greatest trick the most powerful minds in history have mastered is simple. Make people believe they are in control, while you quietly guide their every move. This is how kings have ruled, how billionaires have negotiated, and how masterminds have outplayed their enemies without them ever realizing it. The art of misdirection is not about deception, it's about influence. It's about letting people think they are making their own choices when, in reality, you have set the stage, controlled the narrative, and created a path that leads exactly where you want them to go. Think about it. People resist control. The moment they feel manipulated, they fight back. But if they believe the decision is their own, they will defend it, justify it, and even fight for it. This is where misdirection becomes a superpower. You don't force them, you guide them. Let's take an example from history. The Roman Emperor Augustus, one of the most powerful rulers of all time, never openly declared himself a dictator. Instead, he made a show of restoring the Republic, convincing the Senate and the people that they still had power. But behind the scenes, he controlled everything. He let them believe they were in control, while he ruled the empire with absolute authority. This technique is used everywhere, from politics to business to personal relationships. Think about a master negotiator. Instead of pushing their demands aggressively, they create a situation where the other person feels like they are getting what they want, even though, in reality, they are walking straight into the trap that was set for them. Let's say you want your friend, partner, or colleague to do something they normally wouldn't agree to. If you demand it outright, they might resist. But if you present it as a choice, if you make them believe it was their own idea, they will commit to it far more than if you had simply told them what to do. Here's a practical example. Suppose you need a coworker to take on a difficult task. Instead of saying, "Can you do this?" which gives them the chance to say no, you say, "Between task A and task B, which one do you think would be a better use of your strengths?" Suddenly, they feel like they have a say. They choose one, thinking it was their decision, when in reality, you framed the situation so that either choice benefits you. Magicians use misdirection in their tricks. They keep your focus on one hand while the other is doing the real work. The same principle applies in real life. People can only focus on so much at once. If you control their focus, you control their decisions. The beauty of misdirection is that it works because people trust their own judgment more than they trust yours. If you can subtly steer that judgment, they will believe they are acting on their own, never realizing they are following the path you designed for them. This is not manipulation in a negative sense. It is strategy. It is understanding human psychology at the deepest level and using it to navigate life with intelligence. The person who masters misdirection never needs to fight for control, because they already have it, without anyone realizing. Way number 5. The power of silence. Controlling the game. Without saying a word, there is an invisible force more powerful than words, more influential than actions, and more dangerous than anger. It is silence, the ability to say nothing, to hold back, to let others reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. That is the ultimate power move. Look around. People fear silence. They rush to fill empty spaces with meaningless words, exposing their weaknesses, their thoughts, their emotions, without even realizing it. The moment you understand this, you gain an edge over everyone around you. Silence forces people to reveal themselves. When you stay quiet in a conversation, in an argument, or in a negotiation, people become uncomfortable. They start second-guessing themselves. They scramble to fill the void with explanations, justifications, confessions, things they would never have said if you had just kept talking. Imagine this. You are in a heated debate. Instead of arguing back, you simply pause. You let the other person's words hang in the air, unchallenged, untouched. Suddenly, they start doubting themselves. They feel the need to explain further, to backtrack, to make sure they were understood correctly. In their desperation to fill the silence, they weaken their own argument. Great leaders, negotiators, and strategists understand this well. They know that the most powerful person in any room is the one who speaks the least. They do not waste words. When they do speak, every word carries weight, precision, and impact. Take a look at history. Vladimir Putin, Steve Jobs, even legendary war generals all mastered the art of strategic silence. When a question was asked, they did not rush to answer. They let the tension build. They let others speak first. And when they finally did respond, every word was carefully chosen, making their presence feel larger than life. Silence is also a tool of emotional control. When someone insults you, mocks you, or tries to provoke a reaction, what happens if you don't respond? They lose. Their words become powerless. They expect resistance, but instead, they are met with emptiness, leaving them confused, frustrated, and defeated. In personal relationships, silence can be a test. If someone truly values you, they will notice when you withdraw. If they don't, you have your answer. The way people react to your silence reveals everything about their intentions. Here's how you can use this power starting today. In conversations, pause before responding. Even a 2-second silence can make people lean in, eager to hear what you will say next. In conflicts, stay calm and quiet. Let the other person burn their energy while you remain in control. In negotiations, let silence do the work. After making a strong statement, stop talking. The next person to speak usually loses power. In life, observe more than you speak. Let people show you who they truly are, while you remain unreadable. In the end, the person who controls silence controls the conversation, the perception, and the outcome. They operate in the shadows, influencing everything without revealing anything. Speak less. Observe more. Let others reveal their cards. Because in a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, the real power belongs to the one who knows when to stay silent.